Greetings, everybody. I just say a quick greetings. Let me put out a prayer for us in our session this AM. We give thanks for this day and time. We give thanks for this Sunday morning, this time to gather with each other, remembering who we are as children of God, as spiritual beings, as divine beings. We give thanks for this moment of feasting. We pray that the food today will be edifying to all of our spirits and souls. Anything that needs to be said, may it be said so that it can stir up or clean out or encourage us. Whatever that's needed, may it happen in this session for each and every one of us in its unique way. We give thanks in advance. And as the word is presented today, may we not only just be hearers of the word, but may we be doers as well. May we be courageous, diligent, disciplined, committed enough to be doers of the word that we hear with our own individual ears. Whatever we may hear today with our ears, may we be diligent and committed to it and be doers of it. We give thanks in advance. Amen. Ashe, Amen, Amen, Amen. I jumped right in because listening to that song, Surgical, what was the name of that song? The name was Spiritual Surgery. And in the song, she's like, cut through me. Just that statement in itself, cut through me. My intentions was to go right into meditation and then give a word today, but I'm full right now, so I want to be able to get it out to you. Cut through me. Cut through me. The biggest thing that must be cut through be us. It really do. It really do. And by the end, they begin to say over and over again, I want to see like you, feel like you, be like you. The they're saying the word Jesus, God, those type of things. But what I was going to say before I press record is there has been a great disservice and miseducation when it comes to what's being said when the name Jesus and God is being called. And I am here to dismantle it. When you tune in here, you're going to hear Jesus, you're going to hear God, you may hear Allah, you're going to hear the Almighty, you're going to hear the Creator. And I pray that as you continue to tune in to what we teaching here at OU Ministry, metaphysics, that when you hear these words, your spirit does not reject them because you have an understanding. Don't allow God to build you in wisdom, knowledge, and understandings and clean that out, because that great disservice, it was not by chance. There was some intention in it. And so in this age of great awakening, do not allow the ego or the enemy to have you throw away those things that your parents and your ancestors and your grandparents put in you, because now we're in an age where you can have a full understanding of what those things were. It was no mistake why the seeds were planted in you that were planted. And most of everybody on here, if not all, the seeds of the word of scripture was implanted in you. So open your ears and your minds and your heart so you can understand it, so you can walk in God. And so that spiritual surgery can happen. Don't be so pompous where you don't be so egoic, where you're taking all of the information and all of that, and now you're rejecting and all of this. Well, do you know it? Listen, throw all that away. Because at the end of the day, if I have to say it every session, I'll say it. The truth about the Creator is in all of it. If you know how to read it, if you know how to study, if you know how to hear, if you know how to see. And give thanks for your teachers that are presented in your life. Give thanks for the people who come into your world because you have had an earnest desire to get to understand God. Value them and listen and study and be diligent in your studies so you can grow in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, so you can begin to walk in integrity. Integrity meaning I ain't talking about no moral standards. That's wonderful, great. I'm glad you're a good person. You were born a good person. I'm talking about the integrity of who you truly are. who you really are without all of the past experiences, all the trauma, all the drama, all the what people think you were, you're supposed to be, what you gotta be, with all of that, without all of that, can you sit down and really realize who you truly are, who you were born into this physical experience to be? What you were born into this experience to be. You cannot get to a full understanding until you realize that you're out here experiencing the life of an imposter. The imposter was born oftentimes in survival mode. You didn't sign on for it. It was born when you went to school and they told you got to choose to be somebody or do something. The imposter was created oftentimes through society and societal standards and your environment. And so you began to outpicture yourself naturally as the person you were born to be, but you also began to outpicture the things that you acquired from your environment, from things you heard, things you were taught. You acquired all of those things and you began to live them out. And some of those things has manifested as things you're not proud of, things that are harmful to you. You know that it is, but you can't quite get yourself away from it. It has panned out to be so many different things, but understand that at the root of all of that is the pure you. And if you can take the time, sit down and peel back the layers. That's what she was singing about, this surgery, spiritual surgery. Cut through me so I can see. So I can see the misconceptions that I may have, so that I can see the habits that were born, that are subconscious, that coming from something in my subconscious. These deeper level things that can happen if you sit down, move away from your addictions, your fantasies, your pleasures, move away from them often, constantly, consistently. Don't go hard on yourself because you have them. We human, baby. That's the good and some would say bad news. Hey, it's both. It can be either. Which one you want to choose? But that's what it is. We all have it. We all deal with it. But you also are a conscious breathing being. So you make choices every minute, every hour, every day. You make choices. Choose to step away from it for a while. And I promise you, your inner being, commune with that inner being. It'll start telling you stuff. It'll start revealing things to you. You'll start realizing certain things. And gratefully, you begin to realize who you really are, aside from who you think you're supposed to be. I had a word planned for this AM, but as I was preparing for the session, another word hopped in my spirit. And then this song started playing. I said, let me just put on my playlist, my worship playlist, while everybody's waiting to tune in. And that song starts playing. And as I'm listening to it, I'm like, you know, I'm always a little conscious. Like I pray people are not getting turned off who may not subscribe to the man named Jesus. You may not subscribe to that name. You may not subscribe to that. I say, open your heart and open your mind, especially when you're rocking with me. Because you know I'm going to challenge you to listen with an ear, a metaphysical ear. I pray, do we all have our metaphysical ears on? Because when you tune in here, I want you to tune in to the metaphysical ear. So I don't have to break everything down. And when I say Jesus, you know what I'm talking about. When I say God, you know what I'm talking about. And you're not in some fantasy world. I pray, if it is the case, I don't mind helping you to understand that we're not talking fantasy here. Many of us grew up in fantasy worlds because we were taught it in a fairy tale way. I'm just being frank here because this is the age of being frank. God is not no thing or man, no nothing that's up in the sky with puppeteer fingers doing it and with a big book of name. Come on, somebody now. Come on, let's come out. God is not standing up there punishing you. God is not a fantasy. God is a reality. Write that down. God is not a fantasy that you have to force yourself to believe in, because that's what many have had to do. And you still don't believe. That's why you're stressing and dying of disease that is caused by stress and worry and panic and fear and anxiety and guilt and shame and worry and all of those different things. Because you're trying to believe. You can't, it's going to be hard for you to try to believe in a fantasy. God is not a fantasy. God is a reality. This thing we call God is a set of laws and principles that are eternal and real and infinite. It shows up in the womb when the mama having a baby, and it shows up in the ground when the seed is opening up to become that big old beautiful tree that bear all them fruit for many years to come. It shows up when the sun rises and the moon rises, the sunset and the moon cycles. It shows up when you don't have no idea. Thank God. Please don't have no idea. Tired of your ideas. Move your ideas away. Lord, take them away so you can get rid of, take your hands off them wheels. You know, you got your hand on the wheel, passenger side driver, you scared. And here go the reality of God, it don't even match up at all, align with no kind of fear, the vibration of fear. Are you kidding me? And here you continue to interject with your fear and anxiety and worry. Why? Because you a child of God, baby. You a child of God. You ain't gonna never know or feel or believe in what God can do. You can't never know. There is no knowing. The best you can do is just know that it is no end. It is no failure. There is no limit. There is no fathoming. So don't. That's the best way for you to be. Just chill out. We'll hop on a plane and put our lives in the hands of some person we don't even know before we put our lives in the hands of God. Oh my God. We'll hop in an Uber that smell like liquor and weed and chill out and make our way there before we give it to God. Lord help us all. We'll go eat at a restaurant not knowing who in the back and what they doing and what's in the food before we give it up to God. Lord help us. Okay, I ain't mean to come on just slamming on toes. Lord Jesus, help us all. Why? Why is it difficult for us to trust? It's difficult for us to trust because many of us have been groomed in the teachings of God as something fantastical. Maybe I'm not, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm talking about just my experience. They did the best they could. I'm not bashing nobody. They did what they thought the best thing to do. And giving thanks by the grace of God, it did us well. Ashe, amen. By the grace of God, at least we knew how to do something, some kind of praying, some kind of believing. At least we had something to lean on, but I want us to take it from you leaning on something you trying to believe in, to understand this is the principle and the law of life, this thing we call God. It's the principle and the law of life. This song that was playing before we got started, spiritual surgery, cut through me. It's a must for us to get cut through. What are we cutting through? We're cutting through the perceptions we have. We're cutting through the belief systems that have become embedded in our minds. We're cutting through the memories that create certain emotions in us that have us doing certain things. We're cutting through all of those different things we want. We got to be cut through. That stuff has to be cut through in order for you to really walk into it walk in integrity, meaning walking who you truly are, minus the fear, minus the worry, minus the anxiety, minus the shame, minus the guilt, minus the expectations, minus the minus all of that. Who are you? Who has God made you to be? What has God made you to be? And it's deeper than what I'm even saying. Because after you complete the I am, if you answer that question, you say, I am. It should match up with the aspects of the Creator. Because you are a child of God, you are a reflection of it. I am. Your I am should match up with what God is. So how can you know who you are if you don't know what God is? You can't know who you are. You only know what you perceive yourself to be. Our hearts open, our minds open, ears open this morning. Are we hearing the word? You're going to forever not feel like you know who you are, or you know what you're here for, or you know what you be, until you get to know what God is. You're not going to know. Because that's all you are, is a reflection of God. Everything else you think you are is either attached to your personality, which is a value there. I'm not denouncing your personality. That's not eternal. It's just unique aspects of you that are meant for you to have so that you can shine your light uniquely as you are supposed to shine it. That's the only purpose of our personality, is so that you can play your role as a reflection of God in your own unique way. So that you can play your role in this in the grand scheme of things. It's one big life force energy. And you're like a pulse in the heartbeat of it. And your pulse matters. So the way you show up in this world, it matters. We need a you. I need a you. We need a you to balance this thing on out. It's like the ecosystem. The ecosystem has to be balanced in order for it to stay balanced. But them parts of the ecosystem is not God. It's not that is eternal. It's just a reflection of it, playing its role. So who you are, or what you are at the core of your being, is not your personality. Please hear me. It's not your gift. It's not your talent. It's not your journey that God has put you on. God has called you to go through all the trauma that you've gone through, go through all the drama that you've gone through, go through get all the blessings that you got, have all the visions. Yes, you've been created with all of that already calculated in your being and in your journey. For a reason, sole purpose. One purpose. One, solo, soul. One purpose. To be a reflection of God, to be your part of God. The oneness of wellness. The oneness of completion. The whole of the whole. You are a part of it. And if you can't seem to find a way to play your role, you gonna play it one way or the other. Whether you can stay here on this physical plane and play it, or you have to transition to another. No worries. And everything that you go through, and everything that you experience, and everything that you leave here energetically, physically, or whatever, it's still gonna play a role. Whether you want it to, like it to, or not, it's gonna play its role because it is what it is. So if you choose a life of separation and sickness and chaos and hell, it's okay. It's still for the good. It's still for the good. If you choose a life of heaven, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, peace, harmony, wellness, wholeness, expansion, love, it's for the good. Both. Your choice. You choose. You choose. And here's the thing, your inner being is always pushing you to move towards your true you. Your inner being is always making something feel uncomfortable when it's not you. Even when your mind try to convince you it's okay, it always come back to the uncomfortability. Anybody ever felt it like that? Something, the discomfort that you feel, that is your inner being constantly trying to show you, trying to tell you, trying to move you, trying to shift you, trying to grow you, trying to expand you. You busy being mad, but you're not realizing that that madness is trying to grow you. That's it. But you busy being mad. Then you slip into the victim mode. So now you're in your victim mode now. When the feelings are messengers. Instead of growing through it, you continue to go through it. When the sole purpose of it was for you to grow. All right now. Okay, well, I came in here with a word, and the word was, make sure you walking in your integrity. So we give thanks for that song, Spiritual Surgery, that came on, that inspired me to have this, reason in this manner, because spiritual surgery is so necessary for you to walk in integrity. You got to retrace your steps. Realize that there are things you've taken on from your childhood that has made it where you're not really walking in you. You're walking in your mama's perceptions, your father's perceptions, your family's stuff. You're not walking in you. And here's the thing, that trauma, drama, or even goodness. I won't say our families, I don't want to talk like that, like our families just ruined us. Lord help us. We all done the best that we could. We got some goodness too. I saw a post that said, listen now, while y'all out here healing all y'all trauma and, move away from all of y'all trauma and stuff from your ancestors and families and healing generational curses and all of that. Oh, make sure you take on them generational family strengths too and goodness, so that's there. That's not what we're talking about right now. Okay. I just want you to know that I know it's there. That's not what we're talking about. Because I want to talk about what's keeping you from walking in your integrity. And a lot of times it comes from perceptions, beliefs, memories, and things that have come from childhood. It has come from your people, and they didn't mean to. They were just being who they felt they were. But you took on certain perceptions and things because of what you heard, saw, whatever it is. So you have to take a level of accountability, responsibility, and sit and cleanse from those things without guilt, shame, anger, and all of those different things. Once you get past that, that's beautiful, because it may end up there for a little while, but get past that. It is what it is. That was meant for your glory and meant oftentimes for their glory. Because once you get through the weeds and bust out in your light, they see you and they learn from you, and you get to heal and you get to unlock the goodness of your bloodline, the goodness of your family. Does it mean it'll change certain dynamics and things? Not necessarily. It don't mean that. But what it will do is start to give room for God's light in it all. But you have to do it. You got to have the renewal of the mind, the surrendering of the self, the cutting through of all of that you perceive yourself to be and that you perceive life to be, but what it is. And life is a great outpicturing of God. That's all life is, in so many ways. It's all in our choice. on how we experience and what we do with it. So walk in integrity. The only way you can do that is to cut through you. Allow yourself to be cut through, right? And in the only way you can allow yourself to do that, and I'll get to my notes that I was creating for this session today, because it's in alignment. You got to get to know the reality of God. Let me give you my notes on that. To know the reality of God is to know that life is expanding each moment. Each moment, life is expanding. So don't stay stuck. Don't stay stuck in the past. Don't even stay stuck in yesterday. Try to live each day in the moment with the understanding that life is forever expanding. I always use nature because it's such a good example. I always say when we look outside and we see a tree, we think we see that same tree. That tree is not the same that it was yesterday. It's not. The bushes that you see, the plants that you see, anything that you see that's out here living and breathing and growing is not the same that it was yesterday. That is life. But here's the trickery. We go off of what we see. And you can never see what truly is, because the depths of everything is so eternal and so infinite and so expansive that you could never see. The best thing you could do is try your best to look at things from different perspectives. Don't get stuck in a certain perception. Definitely don't get stuck in negative thinking. Definitely don't get stuck there. You can, that idea of something that's negative may be there. But so many other things are there too. What if we only looked at childbirth as the pain? We would just see childbirth as just this terrible thing. But is it? No, it has pain with it. But what else comes with that? Look at so many other things come with childbirth. I'm just using an example that comes with something in each one of our lives has happened to you that at the time you just, oh my gosh, how did I get here? How did this happen? I don't never want this to happen again. But if you sit in retrospect, you may have done it already before. If you haven't, I challenge you to do so. You see so much good that came out of it. You got clarity out of that. You got some nudging, some kicking in the behind about some things. You got a lot out of that. You start to see yourself for certain things that you need to get together. You start to see other people for certain things. You start to see life in a certain kind of way. So much comes out of it. So to get to know the reality of God is to know that life is expanding in every single moment. Life is. Every situation you're in is expanding in every moment. Every circumstance you face is expanding in every moment. And I used the word expanding. I tried to, when I was contemplating on these notes, I said, what's the best word I can say? Because I like to say things like moving towards wellness, moving towards the goodness. It's always moving towards, it's like that plant. You know, I'm here in the garden. So even though I'm not out there planting all the seeds in the garden, I'm witnessing the growth of it. And it's almost like I'll see the sister putting a seed or a baby plant in there, and it's almost like I blink my eye, and or I'll even look at the house plants here. One minute I'll see a little bitty thing that look like a little curled up leaf. Next thing I know, it done opened up. It's a leaf this big. Then I have a plant. Next thing you know, the leaf is about that big. In every moment, if it is living and breathing, are you living and breathing? I pray that everybody on this call right now is alive and and breathing. Lord help us. Call 911 if you ain't. But you living and breathing. So guess what? You expanding. And everything a part of you is expanding. Every circumstance, every situation. Trust that it's expanding in the greatest way. And let me tell you, You're so powerful because as a man thinketh, so is he. As it is expanded, if you interject anxiety, fear, worry, shame, guess what happens? Lord have mercy, it becomes. But say you interjected affirmations, words of life. Say you said everything in my life is always working out in my favor. And you just keep saying that, even when your mind tell you it's not. Say you did that. After a while, if you pay attention, you're going to really start not just believing, but knowing that as a man thinketh, so is he. You're going to start knowing it. Make it your language. Make it your language. How do you know the reality of God? I mean, to know the reality of God is to know that every moment moves towards wholeness, oneness, or wellness. Everything is moving towards wholeness, oneness, and wellness. Everything is always. Even that dis-ease that's about to take that physical life, guess what? It's moving towards wholeness, oneness, and wellness. Because there is no death, truly. The person who drops their body is still here. The energy is still here. Their being is still here. Their essence is still here. It resides in the universe. It resides in your mind. It resides in your memory. It resides in the vibration of the earth, of the world. We are not beginnings. We're continuances. And when we drop this body, we continue as pure positive energy. To know the reality of God is to know if we are to surrender, we align with that flow of movement towards wholeness and oneness and wellness. If we are to surrender, we can align with the greatest flow of all. If only we can surrender. Well, Queen, how do I surrender? Because let me tell you something about this ego and this mind and this will, Lord. It's strong, Queen. It's strong. Well, seek. Seek what? Seek wisdom. Seek knowledge. Seek understanding. Of first of all, what God is, what life is. Second of all, what does that mean for you? Seek. Seek divine understanding. Seek divine guidance. Stop making decisions so quickly. Pray on it and be patient and wait on the answer. You practice that, you will start knowing when the answer comes. You can tell. You can feel it. Sometimes you can see it. How do we surrender? Once after we seek, then submit to it. Once we start to get to know God, whether you get to know it intellectually at first, that's okay. Sometimes it's the intellectual part that you get first. You start, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. It opens you up so you can start experiencing it from a deeper level, a more intuitive level instead of just intellectual. Because now when you have the intellectual understanding, you can kind of calm down a little bit because things make a little sense. Because oftentimes we're trying to take control of things because we think we got a level of sense about it. Okay, so I think if I do this, we done thought it through. That's what we always saying. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. That's a big part of our language. I'm going to figure it out. I just need to figure out. We always trying to figure in something. Figure out God. Then submit to it. Gain some understanding of God. You can do that through scripture. You can do that through teachings, being under a ministry that can help you to learn, teach, learn what prayer is, learn what God is, learn what sin truly is, learn what evil truly is, learn what that all is. Learn what crucifixion is, for real, for real. Learn what resurrection is, for real. Like, well, learn what it is. What are we talking about here? These things show up in a surface level when you start to learn about the dynamics of the psychology of the mind. You start learning about these things and it start making sense of life, making sense of how you think, how you perceive, what things are all about. You start learning about science, all of that, science, psychology, all of these things that help you make sense of this life. All of that still is just a reflection of what God is. Learn about it. Once you submit to it, then try it. Say you say, okay, I like this teacher. I think I'm getting another understanding. I like this. I like how I'm understanding the Bible now. Now you got to try it. I like how I'm understanding the Quran. I like how the Buddhists talk about that. Whatever it is, wherever you get called to start to understand how to live life, not according to your own ego and will, how to surrender to life and all of that. Whatever resonates with you, take it and then try it. You got to try it. And then as you try it, listen, and in order to really stay consistent with that trying, because we'll try it, but we are so groomed in this microwave nation, Lord help us, and this social media, instant gratification. We're addicted to endorphins, all of that. So I get it. Sometimes you feel great about it. You just, woo, you take it on for a week and then you done forgot. Now you just coming back up for air like, what happened? Oh my God. I get it. But here's what happens. This is what it takes in order for you to surrender and really surrender. You got to have an earnest desire to live. You got to love yourself. You have to love yourself enough, not your personality, not this body, not that, but truly believe that you are here for a sacred purpose. You are here for this very divine role. You play a very divine role in this whole big picture. Your life is precious. Your life is sacred. You are sacred. Your body is a blessing. Your temple is a blessing. Your passion is a blessing. Your light. You have to really believe that. You have to really love on yourself. So maybe you got to start with some self-love. Maybe that's first. And not a self-love as in your physical body or in your life, but literally, like, please understand that your being impacts so much that you don't even know. Just your being. Sometimes you don't even know that you walk around your city and your light, whether you see it or not. You could be having a terrible day. You could be feeling like you're not walking in your light at all. And your pure light can reflect upon somebody and impact them. So just imagine if you govern your mind and you stay in a positive light and you speak affirmative talk and you think positively and you're earnestly seeking to live. Your light can, boy, I tell you, you don't have to say nothing, do nothing, just be. Walk in a room, it fills it up when you do that. That's powerful. That your being can shine light in a way that can keep life force energy going. That your hug, your word, your vibe, your energy is a part of this life force energy. That's valuable. Why not treat yourself right? Why not eat well? Why not think right? Why not do that when you can be a vessel of life force energy yourself? Like the babies come and they just give us life. Scientifically, have shown that when a baby is born in the family, the elders get, if they spend time with the elders, it adds life onto the elders' life. That's real. So become childlike. Give out. Why does it do that? Because the baby is pure positive energy. You don't have all that stuff that is on us. It don't have all of that. It's just happy here. You know, all they want to do is eat, give me some food, let me sleep, give me some stimulation. I'm gonna figure out how to walk, pee. I'm gonna figure all that stuff is gonna happen. You may think you're doing so much to teach you. It was gonna happen anyway. You may have made it where they ain't soiled so many pants, and you know they did, but it was gonna happen. Why? Because they have divine intelligence in them. It was gonna happen anyway. Same way with you. Become more like a child. Honor that you already have that in you. That creates that earnest desire to surrender and be that to the greatest. Once you have that earnest desire, that is going to help you to commit, because it takes a level of commitment, steadfastness. It takes that. When you are not steadfast in your practice, whatever your practice is, meditation, prayer, tuning in to hear on Sundays, keeping your mind positive, thinking, affirmations written around your house on Post-it notes, whatever your practice is, in order for you to stay on your square and keep your heart light, it takes a level of steadfastness of it. And that takes discipline, especially in a world where the collective consciousness, it vibrates on a frequency of fear, greed, want, yearning, need. That is the collective vibration. It's shifting, giving thanks to the Almighty. The more and more we open ourselves up and heal and become light, more and more the society will shift. It's not impossible for this society to shift, but the shift comes from us. That's our society shift when we shift. The more and more we shift, the more and more you shine your light, you speak your light, you shine your love, it shifts, right? So you have to stay on top of your practice. So, my predominant message today is, it's essential for us to walk in integrity. And that integrity is walking in your light. That is the true you, the light being. You shouldn't even entertain anybody who think, well, everything can't be positive. Well, you can't always be positive. Well, it's okay to feel bad sometimes. Well, it's okay. I'm not entertaining any of that. No, it's not okay for me to feel bad sometimes. So what I'm going to do is, when I do feel bad, I'm going to practice my practice. I'm going to do what I need to do. And that may take me some time. But I'm not going to believe that, well, it's okay for me to stay there because, you're only human. You're not human. You are a spiritual being having a spiritual experience. And so even in the human dynamics, there's something spiritual going on. So treat it as such. When you feel mad, when you feel depressed, when you feel sad, there's something spiritual going on. Treat it as such. Don't go and drown yourself in something that's not going to bring you to the highest of that situation. Don't go masking it. Don't go ignoring it. Don't go embedding it. Know that there's something spiritual going on. So if something spiritual is happening, what do you think you should be doing? Is life really that deep, Queen? Yes. There's always something spiritual happening. Life is more about the unseen than the seen. We just seen a little bit of what's really going on. And depending on what dimension you in. Because once you elevate in consciousness, you start traveling in different dimensions. You know that it's more spiritual. So you can see it. You can feel it. You see it, you feel it, you hear it. It's come up in your dreams. You feel it in your chest. You feel it all over you. If it's something spiritual going on, don't distract yourself so you can get away from it because you don't understand it. Get in your prayer room. Delete yourself out of this world for a while. Spend more time in devotion. Go out into the world, do what you need to do, then get back in a space where you can breathe and journal and sleep and dream and write out your dreams in your journals and talk to your spiritual guide, your internal spiritual guide and the spiritual guides in this physical plane that you've been drawn to. Okay. I could go on forever. I'm not. Okay. I think we got the message. Yes. What do you take away from this? Put in the chat room. What do you take away from this session? That's the teacher in me. What you take away? This y'all exit ticket. We're going to exit into meditation. Once we say the exit ticket, okay? Once you say the exit ticket, what do you gain from this? What have you gained? What was the word from here? For you, for your ears, what message did you hear? It's essential. When you're hearing the word, pay attention. Take it with you so you can take it with you in contemplation. And out of that contemplation will come sometimes some actions, sometimes some prayers. You may realize I need to pray for this so that I can align with this word that God is revealing to me. You may have to create some affirmations so that you can align with this word that you're hearing. Sis says all is good and all is God. One thing she's taken away from it, because to know the reality of God is to know that. Lean into God or spirit more. That's right. You can't walk in integrity if you don't lean into that, because you leaning into your perceptions and your ego and your beliefs and what you're seeing and what you're feeling. Lean into God, lean into spirit more. Give thanks for that. What I took away from the word when it dropped in my spirit is, integrity is really, it takes a bold action to walk in true integrity, the integrity of spirit. That's what inspiration is. You're walking in spirit. You're walking in divine inspiration. You can't do that unless you're tapping into the divine. And you can't do that if you're always tuned in and tapped into what you're seeing and what you're perceiving and what society standards say and what this say and that say and what grandma said and cousin said and your friend said and they said. You got to tap into spirit to make the decisions in your life, to move in the direction you're supposed to be moving in, to walk in your integrity. Sis says commit to spiritual growth. There's a commitment that has to happen. Janitha said that's what she's taking away. Lauren says consistency with spiritual practice, prayer, reflection. Andrea says be consistent, trust self more. Kim says remain faithful in your practice. It's a must. Alex says all is love, all is God. All of it is. It's forever expanded. Don't get stuck in the hardship of it. It's something spiritual going on. You got to tell yourself that. It's something spiritual going on. Tell yourself that when it feels hard. It's something spiritual going on. You got to tell yourself that. Alicia says spirit is always at work in my life. Surrender to it. I'm telling you, because if you do, if you align with spirit, you align it with the greatest frequency. It's the frequency of flow. But you got to be bold. This takes boldness now. It takes boldness. Some folks will call you crazy. Some folks will call you nonchalant. Some folks will say you ain't being realistic. That's why you can't be talking to folks. A lot of this walk is your walk. Problem is you trying to walk with too many people. We ain't gonna go there. Crystal says, send in your spiritual business. Chandra says, allowing God to be in control of my life. Period. Shireen says it's imperative to have a daily spiritual practice, even if it's just a 10-minute meditation first thing upon arising. Ruth says, listen to your instinct and thoughts about what you are feeling. That's it. Lean into it. Because that's guidance. Your feelings is guidance. And don't attach to the feeling. They're just messengers. You wanted to unpack his bag and move in. No. Feelings are messengers. They come to give you a message and move along. Don't get stuck there. That ego have you stuck. Because now you're the victim. Try your best to turn that off, that tendency off to fall into victim mode. Victim mode has a value. Let me say this. Victim mode has a value because as a victim, you at least feel like you're not at fault. So at least make you feel a little bit better about yourself going through the situation. But of course, you got to know it's still, you can go higher from there. I'm just challenging you to go higher than that. Go higher than victim mode. Shanette says, trust spirit and lean into spirit. Listen to spirit. Crystal said, okay, she offered stand in your spiritual business. Thank you. I figured there was a correction that needed to happen. I knew you would give it to me. Stand in your spiritual business, okay? What's the thing that's going around now from that young man who said, what he was saying? I stand on business. Is that what he said? I stand on business. So I stand on business. Everybody's saying it now. Lord help us. I stand on business. Real talk. Stand on that spiritual business. Stay in constant flow state. Flow state. That is God's state. God's state is flow state. Erica, regain trust. People have lost trust, faith in themselves. Yes. Regain trust in yourself. And here's the thing. Remove the attachment to this perceived self. Get to know the true self by getting to know God, and then trust God. Then you don't have to try to trust yourself because you're trusting God. You hear that? Because sometimes we be cunning ourselves, trying to build ourselves in confidence. You cunning yourself. Build yourself in confidence. That confidence is fleeting. You can lose confidence in a blink of an eye. We ain't trying to cun ourselves over here. That can get you through a moment or two, make you feel a little bit better. Confidence. Regain trust in God. Then as you get to know the reality of God, understand that you are a vessel of it. You are a reflection of it. It dwells within you. The Almighty dwells within you and expresses itself through you as you. Continue to say that say that to yourself until that really, really clicks in your mind. God dwells in you and it expresses itself through you as you. God dwells in the trees and it expresses itself through the tree as the tree. God dwells in this world and it expresses itself through the world as the world. God dwells in you. Say it to yourself daily. God dwells in me. I want you to maybe attach the reality of God, because remember what the reality of God says. Life is expanding in each moment. Every moment move towards wholeness, wellness, and fullness. If we are to surrender to it, we can align with the flow of that movement. God is, what is God is? God is the master manifester. God is, okay, all of that. God, everything we can name it to be. God is the expansive one. God is the giver of life. God is the giver of constraint. God is the gate lifter, the door opener. God is the healer. God is the reality of healing. God is the reality of expansion. God is the reality of things working out that don't look like they will ever. God is the great calibrator. God is the merciful one. God is the great mercy that we experience. God is the great grace that we experience. God is the revelations that we experience. That's what God is. Then God dwells in you and expresses all that it is through you as you. So can you please be you? Please. Please give God room. You got to be you though. You can't be the things you feel like you got to be, perceived to be, because that keep you stuck in spaces and emotions and feelings and state of beings and state of minds that is not free to be used. Move out the way, please. Tell that ego, tell that self, that scared self, that sad, that bitter, that resentful, that guilty, that shameful self to take a seat. Relax. Let God show us something. All right, let's move into a brief meditation, a meditation of gratitude. That's the intent for this moment of meditation, just to breathe, receive the word. Receive the word. I am a child of God, a reflection of God, a wonderful, pure, positive energy being, an expansive being with dormant potentiality that is infinite. I have divine intelligence that dwells in me. I am endowed with divine protection. I walk with providence in my life because of the grace of the Almighty. Everything that I experience in this world, it is all fleeting. Each moment is a new moment of expansion. So I have the capacity to live this life in a heavenly state, in an expansive state. So let us be thankful of that, be grateful of that in this moment. Let us release everything. Let's just surrender, lighten our heart, and just be grateful for the dormant potentiality, the infant potentiality of our lives, for the fact that we experience every moment in an expansive way every time we take a breath. Let us just rest in that gratitude. Find yourself in a comfortable position where you are. If you can, stay until the end of the meditation. It's going to be brief. Just take a moment to breathe and relax. Relax in your being. Take a moment to settle in, to paying attention to your breath and your body. Releasing thought. Just take a minute to empty yourself. We give thanks for the word this morning, but empty yourself of even the word. Just be in your body. Pay attention to your breath. Inhaling in through the nose, deeply down into the bottom of the belly, slowing the breath all the way down. Just taking a moment of breath, relaxation, stillness, emptiness. Just emptying out our vessel. So begin to deepen that breath even more, slowing it down even more. Slowing down that exhale as well. Exhaling slowly. So you can slow down the heart rate. Allowing the flow to ease in the body. Every time you take a moment to just breathe and relax, emptying your mind, lightening the heart. Imagine you're emptying your vessel out, giving God room to pour. And as you relax and empty out and breathe, if you do that in gratitude, you repair all the cracks in that vessel. One thing that is true is that God pours in abundance. But if we present ourselves to the Creator with all the holes and cracks in us, created by anxiety, fear, worry, shame, all of these different things, God is pouring, but can we be filled? In this moment, empty yourself and be grateful. Presenting yourself as a whole vessel, lighthearted, open-minded, relaxed, poised, calm, fearless, encouraged, inspired, thankful, willing, earnest. Be here now in this moment in gratitude. Gratitude for your being, Gratitude for the breath. Gratitude for the reality of the Creator, the reality of God, the reality of life. That life is gonna life. And all is well. Even when I can't intellectually or physically see it or know it. Accept that in this moment and relax. Remember, as we get ready to close here, you go into this week, that when you are in this state of relaxation, poised in peace, every moment you allow yourself to be in this space, you give God room. Choose to give God room. And when you find yourself coming out of your peace, be aware. And in that awareness, move back towards your peace. Breathe. Relax. Empty. Observe, don't absorb. Affirm, affirm, affirm. Pray. And if you can do nothing else, be still. Be quiet. Be still. The Creator does not effort or sweat or force or fight or scream or yell to create. It creates in the stillness of the night. It creates in silence. All right, let's take 3 last deep breaths in through the nose. Allow it to go out the mouth, holding that breath for a few seconds before you exhale. Let's do that 3 times. Holding that breath. And then slowly exhaling a couple more times. No rush. Slow, deep inhales. Yeah, one last time. As you relax, come back to this present moment. Maybe by wiggling your fingers and toes, give yourself a little stretch. Prayerfully, you feel lighthearted, clear-minded, present, aware, encouraged, inspired. I give thanks for you joining me here on the session. I have one person came in this morning, so giving thanks for your presence. Giving thanks for your presence. I'll take the opportunity to remind you that you can come in person if you desire to do so on Sundays. So I give thanks for you joining me this evening. I pray the word this morning. I pray the word has been resonant in your spirit. I pray it has been resonant in your spirit. May we be courageous enough to walk in integrity. May we be courageous enough to win the tussle with the mind. May we be courageous enough to be still, to be quiet. May we be courageous enough to listen to spirit and be obedient. It takes courage, it takes boldness, it takes commitment, it takes discipline. May we be disciplined enough to practice our practice. so that we can shine in God's glory, so that we can shine in the light that we are supposed to shine as. You can only shine in your light. Don't try to shine in nobody else's. Your light is valuable. Shine in your light, however that look, however it sound, baby. Shine in it, because that's what it's supposed to be. There's not a you. Every butterfly has a different pattern, believe it or not. Even if it looked the same, I can guarantee you it's not. So that's okay. Shine in you, however it looks, whatever it came with. Shine. So whatever you're going through right now, I challenge you to shine in it. Choose to shine in it. You don't have to frown and fret through your struggles and your challenges. Shine. Trust. And above anybody else, talk to the Creator that dwells in you. Talk to yourself. Listen, talk to yourself. Encourage yourself. Love on yourself. Appreciate yourself. Honor yourself. If this message was one that you think someone should hear, once it's up on YouTube, share it with them. Also, let them know that they can tune in live, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, every Sunday except the last. So encourage them to tune in for the feeding that you receive on Sundays. You know, if Spirit leads you, whoever Spirit leads you to share with, don't hesitate. Don't think. You know, it's a reason why Spirit has led you to share it with that person or those people. Also, if you would like to express your love, show your love towards OU Ministries, you may do so at the same link that you tuned into. There are 3 ways that you can give you on that page. And I give thanks for your love. I give thanks for your offerings. I give thanks for your support to the ministry to keep it going, you know. And you all do that. So everything that you give, it does support the ministry, and I appreciate that. And lastly, I'll say, listen, we're in a retrograde, okay? I think that song was so fitting for this time. We're in a retrograde for maybe 2.5, 3 more weeks. The retrograde is a cutting time. That's the value of a retrograde. It puts things in front of you. So when them emotions come up, lean into it. When them exes show up, lean into it. Now lean into, okay. All right, now I ain't got to say it, do it. I ain't say lay into it. Okay, all right. So calm down. That ain't what I said. Queen said lean into my ex. First of all, I'm talking about the energy of your ex, okay? The energy of your ex is showing back up. So, or the situation, the circumstance that went through. Maybe you were supposed to see something that you went through that you didn't see because you were so mad, because you were so sad, because you were so whatever, okay? So that's more so why the ex is showing back up. Lord help them. Maybe it's meant to be, it's meant for you to see something, and not that. Okay, you know what? Don't make me. Okay, don't play with me. Don't play with me, okay? And if that is the case, you better hold your mule. You better calm down until after this retrograde is over. Then see if it's still, you know, all that attraction is still there. Yeah, wait until then, okay? Hold on, wait a minute. That ain't calm down. Somebody said, get out the sage, okay? Yes, take the sage out and smudge until the end of the retrograde. Don't play, okay? Now, at the end of the retrograde, at the end of the shadow of the retrograde, so that means you waited 2 more weeks after the retrograde is over. If you still trying to go out on that date or take that trip, then okay. You know what I'm saying? But do it soberly out of the retrograde, fully out of it. Don't be whining, talking about, oh, I leaned into it like Queen said, and now I'm here again. I ain't say that. I said, when the retrograde brings things back around, specifically, oftentimes it's relationships, whether it's a mate or your parents, you know, some you ain't thought about that thing that you know, had with your children, your parent, whatever. in so long, and now why is that on your head? It's time for you to reconcile with that thing. It's time for you to rethink it. It's time for you to have a fresh look at it, retell the story, those type of things. When that hurt that happened at 12, at 14, at 24, at whatever age comes back up, out of us, all of a sudden you thinking about that really silly mistake you made during that time in your life. And don't go into, just let it spin you out and, oh, I'm such a bad person. It's bringing it back up because there's something that maybe you missed there. And oftentimes that retrograde gonna bring it up because it's a warning. It's about to come back. So maybe you can, if you sit and do some reflection, maybe you can get that lesson before it has to ring it back on round. I don't want it. Let me figure it. Let me sit with this thing. So that's what the retrograde is all about. And that is that cutting through, and so take advantage of the retrogrades. Be sober-minded so that you can pay attention because things do come back up. People do come back around, situations and circumstances come back to mind. Traumas come back up. You start feeling it. And if you need some support to help you through it, if you don't never get coaching during the retrogrades, you should get your coaching. Save up. Retrogrades only come about 3 times a year. Some people feel like it's like 10 times a year, but no, it's only about 3, maybe 4 times a year. But them will be wonderful times for you to get you some sessions when them retrogrades is here, because it's giving you that space to reconcile, to renew the mind, to retell the stories, to reflect. And so those are wonderful times to get that support. So if you need that support to kind of talk through and think through, and, coaching can help give you a different perspective. So coaching gives you the right questions to be asking, the right things to be talking through and walking through, and it gives you someone to help you to walk through it. And in this case, I'm saying that someone I would welcome you to come and get that support. So you can always, if you need that support, book your session with me via the website or the links in my bios. Several different ways that you can do that. And if you haven't joined my newsletter yet, please join it, because whenever I have service specials, which I have service specials all the time, I have one right now on the natal chart unpacking session. I thought that would be great if you haven't unpacked your natal chart. Those sessions are half off right now. Wonderful thing to do to get to understand your natal chart so you can understand your personality. So maybe you can work along, your personality can be an asset for you, okay, consciously. And you can know how to be this being that God has placed you here to be. And you can know that by looking through your blueprint, getting to understand your blueprint. It's almost like you get a luxury vehicle and you got all of these things. Smartphone, let's go with the smartphone. You got a smartphone, it can do a billion other things than you know to do. All you know how to do is use the camera and answer the phone call. That's all we know how to do, answer the email. But when you get to know what the devices do, some things that you learn that it does, you be like, wow, this is way easier. Oh my goodness, I should have been know how to do this. That's what getting to know your natal chart, your birth chart can help you to do. Okay. It can know how you click, know how you move. Get your charts, get the unpacking, unpack it. And parents, it's great for you to get it for your children because you can know how to help them out. Okay, you can help them out. And then spouses, you can get it for each other so you can relax and start allowing each other to be who you truly are, and stop asking and needing each other to be who you want you to be. You want you, that's the problem. You don't want them, you want you. So now you need to get to know them. You might, I don't know, you might find something, be like, wait a minute, I don't know if I really signed up, but no, it's okay. You can learn how to be with them and let yourself be whole and them be whole. That's okay too. So that's the service special for this month. But I often have service specials on the coaching sessions and all of those things too. All right, well, that's it. I think that's the last thing. I do have the New Year's Eve vision board event, but I don't have any more space for that. But I do still have a few more slots for the January 11th Prosperity Circle session that I'm doing. So that's still open. I think I have maybe like 8 slots left. Now, last time I said this, 10 minutes later, the slots was gone. So I'm telling you now, okay? That's on January 11th. That session is, I think that's $20. That one's set for $20. We're going to be doing some beautiful work on that expansion day. It's 1/11 and it's on a Thursday. expansion day, day of Jupiter. So that's going to be a powerful time. This is a wonderful time to do it at the onset of this year, so we can make sure we're not living in survival mode. One of the things that really cuts into our relationship with the Creator is survival mode. And so I don't denounce resources. I don't think it's anything wrong with you tapping into your prosperity affirmations and prayers and all those things. The greatest thing for you to do is tap into the true essence of abundance, the true currency of abundance. And that's what we're going to be doing on 111. So you can truly understand what that is and how to tap into that, so you can stay in that, so that not only does money come easy to you, but everything that is abundance comes easy to you. The abundance of life, abundance of peace, abundance of human resources, energetic resources, spiritual resources, all of the abundance flows your way. You got to tap into that frequency, because if you tap into the money frequency, it's fleeting. It can come and go. We know that. But when you tap into the true essence, anything that you need that's in alignment with abundance, you can gain, period. But you got to tap into that frequency. That's what we're going to be doing on 111. We're going to be talking about it, and then doing some mantra prayer work, and then whatever else spirit leads in order to tap into that evening to take with us. All right. Well, peace and love, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see y'all next Sunday if I don't see y'all before. All right. Oh, sound bath. I did forget that one. My bad. There is a sound bath on the 29th. You can mark your calendar for that. The 29th, that's a Friday. So that'll be nice before the new year if you weren't able to sign up for that vision board event. So I do have that sound bath on the 29th. Remember, join the newsletter so that you can get those announcements when they are announced. All right.